The hunting party gathered on the observation deck of the Vrax flagship, their mandibles clicking with anticipation. Commander Gorn puffed his throat sack proudly as he addressed the assembled warriors. My fellow Vraxians, today marks our 87th successful hunt on this backwater planet. The primitive species they call humans provides excellent sport, does it not? A chorus of throaty growls signaled agreement. I stood at the back, trying not to draw attention. Look, I'm not exactly what you'd call a traditional Vraxian. My name is Zotek, and while the others get their kicks chasing terrified beings across alien landscapes, I'm the guy who has to clean up the mess afterward. Not exactly glamorous. Zotek, front and center, barked Commander Gorn. Great, just great. I shuffled forward, my exoskeleton plates clicking nervously against each other. Yes, Commander. You will accompany the hunting party this time. Your reluctance to participate has been noted. It is unbecoming of a Vraxian warrior. With all due respect, Commander, I'm a sanitation technician, not a... Silence. His throat sac inflated to twice its normal size, turning a dangerous shade of purple. The High Council believes all Vraxians should experience the thrill of the hunt. You will join us or face exile. Exile actually sounded pretty good compared to murdering innocent beings, but I kept that thought to myself. As you command. Lieutenant Kraz, Gorn's second in command and possibly the most insufferable being in the known galaxy, scuttled forward. We have selected an excellent specimen for today's hunt. Female. Young. Physically fit. Our sensors detected her in an isolated mountain region they call Colorado. The view screen activated, showing a human female with copper-colored hair hiking along a mountain trail. She moved with confidence, unaware that alien predators were watching her every move. Her name? Asked one of the younger warriors. Kraz flicked his antenna dismissively. Does it matter? The prey doesn't need a name. But I needed to know. Somehow it felt important. While the others prepared their hunting gear, I slipped away to the data terminal and accessed the human identification database we'd stolen from their internet. A quick scan of the geographic location and facial recognition gave me what I needed. Megan Reeves. Age 29. Forest ranger. Lives alone. Perfect prey, from the Vraxian's perspective. Isolated. No immediate family to notice her disappearance. No one to miss her right away. No one to avenge her. How wrong we were. The hunting pods descended through Earth's atmosphere, cloaking devices engaged. 5 pods total, each carrying 2 hunters, and me stuck with Commander Gorn himself. Lucky me. Nervous sanitation drone? Gorn's mandibles clicked in amusement. Just wondering if this is wise, Commander. This is our 87th hunt on this planet. The humans might notice a pattern. Gorn laughed, a sound like gravel in a food processor. These primitive mammals? They still debate whether beings from other worlds exist. By the time they figure it out, we will have hunted their most exceptional specimens for generations. Our pod landed with a soft thud in a clearing. The mountain air was crisp, filled with scents of pine and soil. Beautiful, really. If I weren't here to participate in a murder, I might have enjoyed it. Gorn activated his neural scanner. The female is 2 kilometers north. The others are positioning themselves to form the hunting circle. Standard procedure. Surround the prey, drive it toward the designated killing zone, then let the highest-ranking officer make the final kill. All very ceremonial, all very sickening. We moved through the forest, our adaptive camouflage rendering us nearly invisible. I deliberately lagged behind, hoping to somehow warn the human or sabotage the hunt without getting myself executed for treason. The communication implant in my head buzzed. Target is moving east along the ridge, came Kraz's voice. Appears to be collecting plant specimens. A scientist? I asked before I could stop myself. Does it matter? Gorn snapped. Move faster, sanitation drone. Your position is critical to maintain the circle. I picked up my pace reluctantly. Through the trees ahead, I caught glimpses of the human female, Megan. She was kneeling beside a small flowering plant, carefully placing samples in a container. She had no idea that death was closing in around her. The plan was simple. Kraz would break cover first, giving her a glimpse of something alien to trigger her flight response. The others would herd her toward Gorn, who would make the kill with his ceremonial blade. My job was simply to block one possible escape route. But as I watched Megan working, completely vulnerable and unaware, something inside me snapped. This wasn't sport. This wasn't honorable. This was cold-blooded murder of a sentient being, and I wanted no part of it. The communication implant buzzed again. Begin the hunt, ordered Gorn. I saw Kraz emerge from his hiding spot, just enough for the human to notice. Megan froze, her eyes widening. She stood slowly, backing away from the partially visible alien shape. "What the hell?" I heard her say, her voice steady despite the shock. That's when I made my decision. I broke cover completely and ran toward her. "Run," I shouted in her language, thanks to our universal translators. "They are hunting you." Megan didn't hesitate. Smart woman. She turned and sprinted down the mountain path, moving with impressive speed. Traitor. Gorn's roar echoed through the forest. Capture the human and kill the traitor. Well, that simplified my choices. I ran after Megan, easily catching up with my superior Vraxian speed. "Don't stop," I told her as I pulled alongside. "I'm helping you escape." To her credit, she didn't break stride. "What are you? What's happening?" "Long story. I'm Zotek. Those are Vraxians. They hunt sentient beings for sport. You are today's target." Her face contorted with disgust and fear, but she kept running. "How many?" 10 hunters. All armed." "Fantastic," she muttered. Just how I wanted to spend my Tuesday. I admired her sarcasm in the face of mortal danger. "There's a river ahead. We need to cross it." "They can't swim?" "They can, but water confuses our tracking implants. Light buy us time." We reached the riverbank, and without hesitation, Megan plunged in. I followed, my exoskeleton immediately registering discomfort at the cold water. The current was stronger than I'd anticipated, pulling us downstream rapidly. "There's a cabin." Megan shouted over the rushing water, pointing to a small structure visible through the trees on the opposite bank. "Ranger station." "Good. Communications equipment?" "Radio." "Phone." "Perfect. If we could alert other humans, maybe." A plasma bolt sizzled past my head, superheating the water beside us. The hunters had reached the riverbank. Underwater. I grabbed Megan's arm and pulled her below the surface just as more plasma bolts hit the water around us. We let the current carry us downstream, surfacing only when our lungs her lungs and my respiratory sacs demanded air. We scrambled onto the opposite bank 50 meters downstream from the ranger cabin. Plasma bolts continued to rain down, but the hunter's aim was compromised by the distance and the trees. "Run for the cabin," I told Megan. "I will draw their fire." She grabbed my arm, surprisingly strong for a human. "No, you saved me. We go together." Before I could argue, she was pulling me toward the cabin. We crashed through the door and slammed it behind us. "Barricade everything," Megan commanded, pushing a heavy desk against the door. I helped her cover the windows with whatever furniture we could move. "The radio," I reminded her. She rushed to a communication device and began adjusting dials. "This is Ranger Reeves. Emergency code Black. Multiple armed hostiles at Echo Station. Send immediate assistance." She paused, listening. "No, not bears. Not human. Repeat, not human hostiles." I could hear the disbelief in the response crackling through the speaker. "Listen to me," Megan continued, her voice deadly serious. "I am looking at an alien being right now, friendly, helping me, others trying to kill us. They have energy weapons. This is not a drill or a joke. More crackling from the radio. Then, sit tight, Reeves. Helicopter dispatching now. ETA 40 minutes. We don't have 40 minutes, I told her after she set down the receiver. I know. She moved to a locked cabinet, punched in a code, and pulled out a rifle. Good thing I'm not planning to sit around waiting. A loud crash came from the roof. The hunters were on top of the cabin. They will burn through the roof, I warned. Megan handed me a smaller weapon, a handgun. I believed humans called it. Ever use one of these? No, but I'm a fast learner. Point and pull the trigger. Try not to shoot me. Solid advice. The ceiling began to glow red as the hunters' plasma cutters started slicing through. We positioned ourselves on opposite sides of the room, weapons aimed upward. Why are you helping me? Megan asked, somehow maintaining her calm. Because hunting sentient beings is wrong. Because I'm tired of cleaning up after their sport. Because you don't deserve to die for their entertainment. The center of the ceiling collapsed, and Lieutenant Kraz dropped into the room. Megan fired immediately, the bullet striking his shoulder. He screeched but didn't fall. Traitorous filth. He hissed at me. The human will die, and you with her. I aimed the handgun and pulled the trigger. The recoil surprised me, sending my shot wide. Kraz launched himself at me, talons extended. Megan fired again, hitting him squarely in the throat sac. Kraz gurgled, green fluid spraying from the wound as he collapsed. More ceiling panels were glowing now. We were about to be overwhelmed. Back door, Megan whispered, gesturing toward the rear of the cabin. We slipped through the small door just as two more hunters crashed through the ceiling. Outside, we found ourselves at the edge of a steep ravine. We jump, Megan said, pointing to a swift-flowing river below. That's at least 30 meters. She gave me a grim smile. Got a better idea? Before I could answer, plasma bolts exploded the ground at our feet. Commander Gorn himself rounded the corner of the cabin, his hunting blade gleaming. Nowhere to run, he growled. The hunt ends here. Megan glanced at me, then at the ravine. Ready? Ready? I nodded. Dakaway. Now, she shouted. We leapt together just as Gorn fired. I felt searing pain across my back as the plasma bolt grazed my exoskeleton. Then we were falling, the air rushing past us. The impact with the water knocked all sense from me. Cold darkness enveloped us as the current swept us away from our pursuers. When I regained my senses, Megan was dragging me onto a rocky shore, kilometers downstream. Stay with me, Zotek, she urged, examining the wound on my back. That looks bad. We'll survive, I managed to say. Exoskeleton took most of it, but she helped me to a sitting position. They will come after us. Yes, but not immediately. They will regroup first. Standard protocol. Megan looked up at the darkening sky. Light's coming. That helps us oar them? Their vision is better in darkness. She nodded grimly. Then we need to find shelter and contact help before nightfall. She pulled a waterproof case from her pocket. Somehow she'd kept it through everything and extracted a small device. Phone's dead. Water damage. The helicopter your people are sending. We'll go to the ranger station, find one dead alien, and a lot of confusion. She helped me to my feet. We need to move. There's another station about 10 kilometers downstream. We can make it before dark if we hurry. As we limped along the riverbank, I realized something terrifying. The Vraxians had made a catastrophic mistake in choosing Megan Reeves as their prey. This human wasn't running scared. She was calculating, planning, fighting back. For the first time, I wondered if the hunters had unwittingly become the hunted. And as the sun began to set on the Colorado mountains, I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't going to end the way the Vraxian High Council expected. Not at all. Commander Gorn thought this was just another hunt. I was starting to think it might be the beginning of a war. Darkness fell faster than we anticipated. The forest around us transformed from merely threatening to downright terrifying, filled with shadows that could conceal Vraxian hunters waiting to pounce. "How much farther to this ranger station?" I asked Megan, trying to keep my voice steady despite the pain throbbing across my back. 4 kilometers, give or take. She supported me as we stumbled along the riverbank. "You holding up okay?" "Just peachy," I replied, attempting to mimic her earlier sarcasm. "Nothing like being hunted by your own species to really make your day memorable." She actually laughed at that. "For an alien janitor, you have got a decent sense of humor." "Sanitation technician," I corrected with mock indignation. "Very prestigious position." A twig snapped somewhere in the forest to our right. We both froze. "Move," Megan whispered, pulling me toward a dense cluster of boulders. We squeezed into a narrow gap between 2 massive rocks, just as a Vraxian scout emerged from the tree line. It wasn't anyone I recognized, probably one of the younger warriors. He scanned the riverbank with a thermal detector, his mandibles clicking impatiently. I held my breath, knowing the device couldn't penetrate the cold stone surrounding us, but one wrong move would give us away. The scout moved closer to our hiding spot. Megan tightened her grip on her rifle, her knuckles white. For several excruciating minutes, we remained motionless as the hunter prowled along the shore. Finally, his communicator buzzed. After a brief exchange in Vraxian, he turned and disappeared back into the forest. "What did he say?" Megan whispered once we were sure he was gone. "They are setting up a perimeter. Commander Gorn is calling in reinforcements from the ship." Her eyes widened. "There are more of you?" "The flagship carries 200 warriors, plus support staff." "Perfect," she muttered. "Just when I thought this situation couldn't get any worse." She checked her watch. "That helicopter should have reached the ranger station by now. They will find evidence of your kind." "And then what?" "Then all hell breaks loose." She looked grim. "We need to keep moving." We continued our journey downstream, moving slower now to avoid detection. The wound on my back had stopped bleeding, but the pain was intensifying. Vraxian physiology isn't built for endurance in Earth conditions. "Talk to me, Zotek," Megan said as we walked. "Why does your species do this? Hunt other sentient beings." I sighed. "Tradition. Status. The more dangerous the prey, the more prestige for the hunter. Humans have become particularly prized trophies over the last 20 years. 20 years? You have been hunting us for that long?" "I have only been on the sanitation crew for 3 years. But yes, the hunts began 2 decades ago when our scouts first discovered Earth." She was quiet for a moment, processing this information. "How many? How many humans have your people killed?" I didn't want to tell her, but she deserved the truth. 86 confirmed kills before you." Her face hardened. 86 people just vanished without explanation. The hunters are careful. They choose isolated individuals, make the deaths look like accidents or animal attacks when possible. But not always. No, not always. We walked in silence for a while, the weight of those 86 lives hanging between us. Eventually, lights appeared through the trees ahead the ranger station. Finally, Megan breathed. "Come on." We approached cautiously. The station was larger than the previous one, with satellite dishes on the roof and several vehicles parked outside. Through the windows, I could see humans in uniform moving around inside. "Wait," I said, pulling Megan back into the cover of the trees. "Let me stay hidden. You go first. Explain the situation." She nodded. "Smart. They might shoot first and ask questions later if they see you." Exactly what I was thinking. Megan squeezed my arm. "Don't worry. I won't let them hurt you. You saved my life." She stepped out of the tree line and approached the station with her hands raised. Immediately, the door burst open and several humans with weapons poured out, shouting and pointing their guns at her. "I'm Ranger Megan Reeves," she called out. "Echo Station was attacked." The humans surrounded her, their postures tense but relieved. They ushered her inside, and I was left alone in the darkness. I could see through the windows as Megan gestured animatedly, presumably explaining about the Vraxians. The other humans looked skeptical, then alarmed. One rushed to a communication device. Another brought Megan a hot beverage. They were believing her. After what felt like hours, Megan came back outside, accompanied by two humans in different uniforms, military, I guessed. "Zotek?" she called softly. "It's safe. You can come out." I hesitated, then stepped into the light. The military humans raised their weapons instinctively, but Megan moved between us. "He's the one who helped me," she explained. "He's on our side." One of the military humans, a female with short gray hair and hard eyes, spoke into a communication device. "Control, this is Captain Martinez, confirming civilian report. We have a non-hostile extraterrestrial requesting immediate extraction and containment protocol echo." The second military human, a tall male with dark skin, approached me cautiously. "My name is Major Bryant. Are you injured?" "Plasma burn on my back," I replied. "Your weapons won't be effective against the hunters. Their exoskeletons are reinforced." Major Bryant nodded, taking this information seriously. "How many hostiles?" "9 remaining on the ground. But the flagship carries 200 warriors, and Commander Gorn has called for reinforcements." The humans exchanged alarmed glances. "We need to move," Captain Martinez said. "Extraction team is inbound. 5 minutes." The next few hours passed in a blur. A large aircraft arrived, a helicopter, as Megan had called it. We were loaded aboard and flown to a military facility built into the side of a mountain. Human medical personnel treated my wound while officers debriefed Megan. I provided everything I knew about Vraxian technology, biology, and tactics. The humans recorded it all, their expressions growing more serious with each revelation. "Their flagship is in geosynchronous orbit above your continent," I explained, pointing to a crude diagram I'd drawn. "Cloaking technology makes it invisible to your detection systems." "But not invulnerable to attack?" asked a human in a suit rather than a uniform. "No. Their shields are designed to repel meteoroids and space debris, not concentrated weapons fire." The suited human nodded to an assistant, who rushed from the room with notes. Megan joined me later in a secured room they'd provided for me. It wasn't exactly a cell, but it wasn't freedom either. "How are you holding up?" she asked, sitting beside me on the strange human bed. "Better, thanks to your medical team. Your species is surprisingly advanced for being so squishy." She smirked. "Thanks, I think. Listen. Things are happening fast. The government believes us. They have found evidence at both ranger stations, and apparently they have suspected something for years. Too many unexplained disappearances. What happens now?" Her expression turned serious. "They are mobilizing. Military forces worldwide are on high alert. They want me to help them find the other hunters still in the forest. And me, you are officially an asset. They want your help to develop countermeasures against Vraxian technology." I nodded slowly. "I will help in any way I can. But Megan, you need to understand something. Once the High Council realizes what's happening, they won't stop with small hunting parties. They will launch a full invasion. We are counting on it," she said with a grim smile that sent chills through my exoskeleton. 3 days later, the war began. The Vraxian flagship decloaked over North America, launching attack vessels toward major cities. They expected a swift victory against a primitive species. They were catastrophically wrong. Human military forces had been preparing, guided by the information I'd provided. Orbital weapons platforms, which I hadn't known existed, opened fire on the flagship as soon as it decloaked. Advanced fighter aircraft engaged the attack vessels before they reached their targets. In my secured room deep within the mountain facility, I watched it all unfold on video screens. Megan stayed with me, both of us witnesses to history. "Your species learns quickly," I observed as footage showed human weapons tearing through Vraxian vessels. "We have been preparing for this possibility since before I was born," she replied. All those science fiction movies weren't just entertainment, they were thought experiments. War games. The flagship tried to retreat, to regroup beyond your moon, but the humans had somehow adapted their missiles to track its energy signature, even when cloaked. The massive vessel shuddered under sustained bombardment before its reactor went critical, creating a small, artificial sun in Earth orbit for several brilliant seconds. But that was just the beginning. Using data retrieved from captured hunters and my own technical specifications, human scientists reverse-engineered Vraxian navigation systems. They located our homeworld, our colony planets, our space stations. And then they launched what they called Operation Extinction. Automated attack vessels, unmanned and relentless, surged through space toward Vraxian territory. The High Council, arrogant in their technological superiority, never saw the true threat until it was too late. One by one, Vraxian military outposts went dark. Colony worlds reported strange vessels in orbit before communications ceased. The High Council ordered all warriors to return to the homeworld for a final stand. 6 months after Megan Reeves was chosen as the 87th human prey, the last Vraxian battlecruiser was destroyed trying to protect our homeworld. The human attack vessels deployed devastating weapons that targeted our specific biology, leaving infrastructure intact but exterminating my species entirely, all because they chose to hunt the wrong human. "You are the last one," Megan said softly. We stood on a balcony overlooking a human city, 5 years after what they now called the Vraxian incursion. I'd been granted asylum and citizenship in return for my assistance. The last Vraxian, I confirmed. It's strange. I should feel more grief. But you don't. I considered this. They brought it on themselves. 86 human lives. Centuries of hunting other sentient species across the galaxy. The universe is probably better without them. Megan leaned against the railing. Some people say we went too far, that extinction was an overreaction. Would your species have done anything different if the situations were reversed? She didn't answer immediately. Probably not. Self-preservation is a powerful instinct. I turned to face her. The irony isn't lost on me. My people hunted yours for sport, and your people hunted mine to extinction. The difference is you gave me a choice, and you chose to help us. The best decision I ever made. I gazed out at the city lights. Your scientists found something interesting in the data from those automated attack vessels, didn't they? Megan nodded. Other worlds, other species that were being hunted by the Vraxians. They have reached out to us, grateful for the intervention. A new galactic alliance is forming, with humans at the center. For better or worse. She smiled wryly. We are trying to be benevolent conquerors. You are not conquerors, I corrected her. You are survivors. There's a difference. The setting sun cast long shadows across the city. In the distance, construction crews worked on a new type of vessel, a human exploration ship designed for diplomatic missions to those newly discovered worlds. They want you on the first contact team, Megan said. Your experience would be invaluable. Only if you are coming too, she laughed. Already signed up. Captain Martinez is leading the mission. I felt a strange warmth that had nothing to do with Earth's climate. From prey to ambassador. You have had quite the career change. So have you. From sanitation technician to last of your kind and galactic diplomat. We stood in comfortable silence, watching the sun disappear below the horizon. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new worlds, new possibilities. But for tonight we were just two survivors enjoying a moment of peace. Do you ever regret it? Megan asked suddenly. Saving me? Betraying your people? I thought about Commander Gorn, about the High Council, about the 86 humans who never had a chance. I thought about the countless other species across the galaxy who had lived in fear of Vraxian hunting parties. No, I said finally, they weren't worthy of survival. They saw the universe as their hunting ground, other beings as merely prey. That kind of arrogance deserved extinction. And what about us? What if humans become just as arrogant? I turned to her, mandibles clicking in what humans had learned was my version of a smile. Then I will have to remind you where that path leads. She returned the smile. I'm counting on it. Far above us, the stars were coming out, each one potentially hosting worlds and species now free from the threat of Vraxian hunters. Worlds that would soon learn that Earth was a planet of paradoxes capable of both terrible vengeance and remarkable compassion. A planet that had produced both the means to hunt an entire species to extinction and the wisdom to preserve the last member of that species. A planet that had turned prey into predator, and back again. A planet that would now take its place among the stars, forever changed by the day the aliens hunted the wrong human for sport. The day the hunters became the hunted. The day the extinction began.